So the main role is to report write. So that's the bulk of my day most of the time. But apart from that, we also have to sort of do the prepping as well of it as well. So most of the time I'll have to sort of read a fact find, for example, and to get to know the client that we're advising, what they're looking for, what the objectives are, helps us to understand what they need and what's the most suitable outcome for them, how we can help them, what's the best solution. So we'll always prep before we start even report writing. We might have to do some research, they might have some existing plans, for example. We'll have to look into those, see if they're suitable, if they're not. Research investment, like the performance of their investments, how the charges, just sort of the background information so you have like a full picture of a client's circumstances. Depending on what the outcome of that is, we might have to do some research on maybe a more suitable plan for them. That again will require a bit more research. We do have a panel of investments that we normally go towards. We also have our own platform called Clearview. Another thing that we have to do is also speak to providers as well, providers, colleagues and the advisor themselves. It's a lot of communication with colleagues who may be able to help us with what we need in terms of admin, and also just discussions with the advisor as well. You can't always tell a client by a piece of paper or what you read on your computer. When you speak to the advisors, they have a bit more knowledge in their head rather than what the point of fact find. So discussing with an advisor is always helpful because you get a bit more of a background information. You get to know all the soft facts that you might not always pick up from reading the fact find document. It's quite an open culture. If you ever have an issue or you're having trouble with the case that you're working on, everyone's very open, everyone's very helpful, and everyone's always willing to help. Even the advisors themselves, they are the advisors after all, so they know what they're recommending and they'll have more knowledge most of the time than we do. You sort of need to have good time management as well. We always sort of work on more than one case at a time, so you need to be able to juggle them quite easily and sort of be able to manage your workflow accordingly. It's definitely a challenging workspace. You do come across cases that you've never sort of seen before, you don't know how to handle, so when you do overcome it, you do feel that sort of relief in thinking, yes, I've pushed myself a little bit more, I've set a little bit of a higher standard for myself, and so you want to push more a little bit. So it's challenging, but it's also really rewarding as well.